I woke up, my nose was broken, and there was blood. Stupid dog. You good? Cool. Really, bro? I just did the YouTube sigh. What's up, YouTube? I have not really made a video like this, but I have been coming into contact with people in the past, and while I've been going through this, that have had the same problems and don't really know what to do. And I hope that me talking about this may help people maybe not feel so alone with what they're going through, or might help some people kind of know that, you know, there are levels to what I'm about to talk about, like, you know, as far as, well, if you read the title, you know. So, back in 2014, at the very end, I had my first seizure at age 20. It was very, very, like, sudden, and when it happened, I was by myself in the room eating pizza, and there was a nightstand, a metal nightstand, like, next to me, a glass metal nightstand, and I thought that I was okay. I thought that I was, you know, healthy and in a good place with my body. It didn't seem like anything was going to happen, but and you can't predict these kind of things. It could happen to anybody at any age. It can happen from alcohol. It can happen from stress. It can happen. I'm not trying to scare you, but it can happen to pretty much anybody at any age. It's uncommon to happen to people who are the age that I was, but whenever you're born, you can be born with it, and you'll have it, you know, for a long-term period. Either it can die off, or it can start up in your early years of your life, and then, you know, you have to deal with it. But for me, it was so sudden, and I was just watching TV, and the next thing, and I'm not sure exactly how it happened. I know that I was just watching TV, and the scariest part of it was not the actual seizure. It was, I woke up. I'm getting flashbacks. I woke up on the floor, and there was, if you're squeamish about talk about blood and stuff, just click off. But I was bleeding on the floor. I seen some blood. I just vaguely remember, like, you know, like a little bit of blood on the floor, and I woke up to like 4 or 5 paramedics shining lights in my eyes, and they had an oxygen mask on me to pull me out of it. And it was so scary, because when you have a seizure like this, you don't remember it. You don't have any recollection of even the few minutes before, and that will come back a little bit later, but it doesn't happen the way you would think it would happen. You don't remember the actual seizure, which, thank God. I can't imagine what that would actually feel like to know what to know what the seizure part, you know, like, I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. To know what the seizure part actually feels like, the part where you're actually in the seizure. But when I came to, I was just bombarded with questions, which I don't think that they should do this. I understand that it's like something that you want to make sure the patient is okay, but for me, it was kind of, I was already having a shock to the system, and being bombarded with questions. You're confused, you're kind of out of it, and it was pretty hard to answer those questions, I guess I should say. But I guess the way that people in the house even knew that something was wrong, which I got so lucky in this, but when I had the seizure, since you're like since you're like moving around a lot, since you're like really, I don't know what I was doing, but my younger brother, and his girlfriend were in the living room, and they heard what seemed like a car hitting the house, and the bang shook the house so much. So I don't know what I was doing. I don't know how crazy I was getting, but they heard a bang, and they rushed in the room. And it's funny because my brother, his first thought was to call my grandma, and his girlfriend, thank God, was like, "Dude, call 911 and then call your grandma. And then, so my brother called 911, and that, if they weren't there, I'm not sure when I would have came out of it, because I was in so long that they had to put a oxygen, like a mask on me. Like, I guess I came to, oh, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. When I came to, my eyes were kind of like looking around, and I have no memory of this. But I guess I was out of it already, and I was looking around the room, confused. And the paramedics that they called, and I guess bring my brain back to full capacity. But when I came out of it, I remember I said, no. They said you had a seizure. And I'm like, no, because you don't believe, this is my experience, and I've heard from others it's the same. They're like, no. I mean, I was like, no, I didn't have a seizure. I was like, no, you're wrong. But I'm on the floor with a mask on, and I have no memory. So that just shows you how confused you can be in the moment. And I know that I'm not seizure prone, so it just didn't make sense. And they said that I was very confused, I was looking around, and now I was out of it. I came to. Not out of it, but I came to. And then they took me to the hospital, and they evaluated my brain to see if my oxygen levels were fine, and to make sure that my oxygen, my blood pressure, the whole nine, and to make sure that I didn't have any brain damage, because if your seizure lasts longer than 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, then that's when brain damage starts to kick in and settle. So I guess I didn't have it that long. Anyways, so as I'm in the hospital, one of the kind of annoying things that happened was, I guess people fake seizures a lot, and I understand that they need to be on their guard, but they were very rude. They asked me certain questions, and then I answered them, but I was confused, so I didn't get the questions right. And when I finally was coherent, I said, oh, wait, just to, get everything straight, and let them know that this is the truth. That way they could better evaluate me. That way they can come to a solution, because if they get the wrong information, of course, then they're not going to be able to help me to the best of their ability. And so I pulled one of the paramedics to me, and because they were still in the room monitoring, signing paperwork and stuff, and he came to me and he said, oh, we can't trust you anymore because you gave one answer and another, so we can't trust you. And I said, but I had a seizure. And what I meant by that was I was so confused. I should have articulated it better, but I was so confused. I wanted to say I was so confused during the moment of the seizure that this happened. That I wrote the wrong answer, or told them the wrong answer. And he says, I believe you had a seizure, but we can't trust you anymore based off this and this and this. And I was just so angry. I was too weak to fight back. I was too weak to say anything. Not that I would anyways. It's just, I mean, it's not, I'm not the kind of person to kind of like just jump down the paramedic's throat down, like from what I've experienced now, and I'll get to that later. But I wouldn't have done it in that moment, because I wasn't in the mood to fight, and so I just was like, whatever. And they kept my family away from me for a long time. They kept saying they'd bring them back, and they didn't. But that was supposed to be the only seizure I had, according to the doctors. They said, you don't have a seizure disorder. You have, it's your first one at age 20. It's very weird and rare. So we're not going to, give you anti-seizure medication, because anti-seizure medication can actually cause you to have seizures whenever you quit, due to the withdrawal. So I said, okay, cool. And I thought I was going to be okay. I actually made a YouTube video that I never posted when it first happened, saying, I hope and pray that this does not happen. Flash forward next year, the exact same time. I had it November 1st, October 31st. It was either October 31st or November 1st. And like I said, my memory is kind of skewed. The next year, around the exact same time, but this time it was kind of like early November. Not November 1st, but like early November. And I had another random one. It just happened. And I was so mad because I was like, this can't be my life. I can't do this. Also, they don't let you drive for 6 months after you have a seizure. So, not that I was driving in the first place, I still needed to get into, like, being comfortable driving. But it just, my point is that it takes away so much of the things you want to do in life. And I got lucky that it was, I mean, people have seizures every day. Some people have seizures every day. Sometimes, like, I've heard of, like, in the 20 plus a day. And I feel for those people, especially those young kids. I can't imagine. Well, I mean, I really, really feel for those people that have to deal with that. Because it is scary. And I found that out later on because my second seizure, let me explain what happens during a seizure. For me, I had a grand mal. My seizure was a grand mal. And that's the full, like, flailing around and, you know, yeah. There's some that are like focal seizures where you can just be looking around the room and kind of blink out. But some seizures are conscious, but not with grand mals. That's one of the key identifiers of a grand mal, is that you are not coherent and you don't remember. But my second seizure, you get a warning. I know that people use the term aura, and with me, my aura is like a week, 2 weeks before I'll feel like something's not right. I'm gonna have a seizure. Like, I just know I am. And then on the seizure day, I can just be fine 1 minute and I'll be okay. I'll have a few, like, panics, like something that's wrong, and I know something's wrong throughout the day, but I'll brush it off because it'll happen for those 2 weeks. And then during the seizure part, and this is the worst part, the absolute worst part of it is you have the biggest panic attack of your life. It's not even a panic attack. I would call it pure terror. I would call it as if you took a bottle of pure terror, drank it, and boom. I mean, it's, I'm not trying to scare anybody because it is manageable. You do get over it, but for me, in the beginning when I wasn't used to it, it was very scary. And that's the thing I hate to this day. That's what worries me, and not the actual seizure itself, but the 10 seconds before. But I'm so glad that I get that warning, because if I was driving, or if I was, you know, out and about, or if I was not with anybody, I could get to a safe place quickly, because it gets you to move. And I think it's your brain's way of trying to protect you and trying to get you to, you know, hey, this is gonna go down. Something's wrong. Go and get to a safe place or lay down. Which I'm so grateful I've never had it now where that doesn't happen. But back to the point. The panic is so severe, and all I can really say is one word if someone else is in the room, and I'll use my family member's name. Like, I would say Emilio, who's my younger brother, or I'll say Mom, or I'll say it's happening. Those are like the three that I always say. I don't know why. It just, like, your brain is still kind of like starting the seizure, so you're a little, like, off. But when it happens, you freak out. And then I love my mom and my family, my brother, who have been so good. Now they know what to do, and my mom just, like, she'll comfort. She'll do everything she can to comfort me because she's seen the terror in my face. Like, it's unmistakable. It's so ugh. I can't even really think about it though, because it's that bad. Ugh. God, I hope I don't have another one ever again. But, like I was saying, I go out after I say those words, and I'm safe, and I go out again, and this second time around, the paramedics were great. They were so nice. They were very kind, and again, waking up to paramedics, not fun. Oh, that sucks. Like, you wake up to people, like, strangers, and they're all in, you know, like, their uniforms, and they're flashing lights in your face. They're trying to talk to you, and it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of the right word. Shocking doesn't really cover it. It's like I'm trying to think of the right word because shocking doesn't really cover it. You know what? Yeah, it's like a shock to the system. Like all of your like senses are going off, and like you just are like, I mean, you come back to reality with no memory. It's like you were dreaming. It's like you're in a dream state where you're just, or like when people hypnotize other people, it's like that, where they're kind of like out of it, but they're there. And so I went back in the paramedics, and things were okay, and they kind of were starting to question maybe I'm having a more severe problem. But they still didn't give me seizure meds at that point because I declined. They tried to... Actually, no, I didn't decline. They gave me Keppra, which is one of the common seizure medications, but it made me feel terrible. Like, it would make my nerves in my hand, like, all of my nerves in my hand, like, just shoot, and I would have to do this. Like, I would have to literally clench my hands, but like this, and I never took it again. I stopped. And then flash forward again. Oh no, there's one thing I missed on the first seizure. During the time before my brother came to me, I guess I had fallen and hit very violently over and over and over again, because I vaguely remember like this structure coming towards me over and over and over and over again. It was me hitting like this part of my nose, like right here, against a metal desk with glass, or a nightstand. And I woke up, my nose was broken, and there was blood. So you could, if you know you're seizure prone, like you have to make sure that you're stable and that you have something to make sure that you don't injure yourself or have family members around you. And I was being watched like a hawk that entire time, because actually I still am watched that way. People don't like to leave me alone because they're so worried that something could happen to me, and it scares me too. I get panic attacks while I'm home alone, because what if it happens again? So now, flash forward again, it's October of next year. So we were at 2016, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, we're at 2017 now. Now it's 2017, and I had another one. And I'm trying to think about one of the significance of this one. I was watching a show. Actually, no, I wasn't watching a show. I was watching a movie. I was watching a movie with my family, and the movie just so happened to be Jumanji, with The Rock. And I didn't even get that far into the movie. I got to the part where, and there's no spoilers, there's just a part where their hippo is thrashing around. That's not going to spoil anything, so don't worry, no spoilers. But right when that happened, I felt it hit me, and I grabbed my mom really hard, and I said, "Mom, Mom, Mom," and then I went out. And it was so embarrassing because they had to shut the entire theater down. I got lucky that there was a nurse in the next room there, and she rushed to my theater. I'm sorry, Mom, bro, if I'm getting this wrong. I don't have that good of a memory of this. I'm not sure if the nurse was in our theater or another. Anyway, so she comes, and I guess she helped. I didn't really get to meet her, or maybe I did. Honestly, your memory is screwed up whenever you have these. But I remember waking up, and the movie was off. All the lights were on. I never seen the movie theater like this, and the people had their phones out, and they were using their phone lights, I guess, at one point, and it seemed like they were cool. It seemed like they were all very considerate. I'm not really sure. Once again, it's hard to recall this whenever your memory is really off. So yeah, after that happened, they took me to the hospital. fixed me up again. They were rude this time again. This time they didn't witness the seizure, so they were terrible. Flash forward, now again, I have to be quick here, I'm running out of time. Flash forward to my 4th seizure. Oh no, I can't even remember my 4th seizure. This is 2018 now, so I had 2 in 2018, which was crazy, in January, and then the other one was in February. Oh no, I gotta pause my camera real quick because I don't know. Okay, so my camera died. Gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna do part 2 if this video gets enough views. Let's try to get this to, I don't know, for a small YouTuber like me so far, 1,000 likes. The main point of this whole video is to just show people that they're not alone. I wanted to go into more detail of like how it affects your daily life, how you interact with your family, and how it affects just, you know, personal life, and how it can be scary sometimes. But I'm hoping and I'm praying that I can make it through, and I can finally stop having seizures and go through a year without having them. This year's already 2 for 2, so yeah. It's a little abrupt, I know, that I'm stopping this whole thing, but part 2, if I make it, will delve kind of into alternatives to stopping seizures, so that you don't have to take like damaging seizure medications or things that will affect you in the long run or mess up your just general well-being and mood swings. And it'll go into how CBD, which is a non-psychoactive version of THC, can help you. But and the spray that I was talking about that pulled me out of it, the THC spray, which yeah, I don't like to use any of those kind of products, but I like it. I mean, it pulled me out of it, and I didn't think that it would, but it did. And there's other videos on YouTube that you can check out to see how it works. I hope this was enough information. I know it was long enough, but yeah, just kind of felt like I wanted to share, and I hope that you guys liked what I had to say. And just give me a like, subscribe, hit that bell if you're a subscriber, and yeah, my name is Jesse. Just no more seizures. That's it. I really don't want to go through that again, but it sucks. Have a nice day, guys. I don't know how to exactly end this, but I hope that this helped some people just get the general idea of information on how seizures work and how it affects people, and for the people affected to know that you're not alone. And yeah, this stuff is it sucks, but I think I'm gonna make it through. I really do have faith, and I know that, you know, I think the worst is behind me, and I'm getting better. I haven't had a seizure this whole year since February, so I'm hopeful. So thank you guys, and peace.